Well, hello everyone. My name is Passek, the FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today we'll be tying a lure pattern. It's basically a woolly bugger. It comes out of Great Britain. It's called the Humongous. Super successful fly. It works really well in lakes all over the world. I know this past weekend I was up in central Alberta at a lake and they weren't taking anything. We tried everything, and as soon as we put one of these on, anything shiny, anything sparkly, they just started crushing it. We had an excellent day, and once we figured it out, they just weren't feeding. They were just wanting to just hang out, and we were getting these on type 1 sinking lines and floating lines in 2 to 5 feet of water, and just chucking it out, stripping it back pretty quick. So this is a version of the Humongous. There's many different versions. So here we go. So the version we're going to tie today is that one. Okay. Basically all it is, like I said, it's a woolly bugger with bead chain eyes. It's the color pattern that really sets this one apart. The Humongous is tied in silver body or gold body with black tail and the black and white grizzly. That's the typical patterns. I mean, you can find them with red bodies and all kinds of other stuff as well, but typically that's how you find them. So, okay, so we're going to start off with some Semperfli Nano Soak in a white or gray. Just going to start that off right behind the eye there. I hope I don't run out because this roll is almost done. If I do, I do. I'll have to switch over. Okay, today for the tail, I'm going to be using some Hends Marabou in black. For the flash, I'm going to be using a combination of a gold, copper, and a silver put together, and it's going to be for the tail. For the body, I'm going to be using some pearl chartreuse. Pearl chenille, in a medium for the body. And then for the hackle, some grizzly. I got one already picked out here somewhere. Yeah, right here. I got a feather picked out already. So, alrighty, and then just some, some bead chain from your sink stopper. So. Here we go. So I'm just going to put a base layer down all the way back to the bend of the hook, about there. I'm going to come back up again, and I'm going to leave myself quite a bit of room up here. I want about that much room because I want the hackle's got to be there, the bead chain eye's got to be there. There's a few things, right? So you want to make sure you leave yourself a good 2 to 3 eye gaps back. So now I'm just doing what I always do with my Marabou. I pull it off of one side and I fold it over. And I pull it off of one side and I fold it over until I get the little pack of Marabou that I like. And then I rip it off, and then it gives you that nice little, really fluffy, movable, lots of movement in it. Just going to switch over my hands. I want a fairly 1.5 to 2 times the length of this body for a tail. You want a long tail here, and if you're on the water and you find that you're getting false hits, you can shorten the tail, but you want a longer tail on this. So just going to place it there, leaving myself some room at the front. Catch it in, and I'm just going to tie it in all the way. I want to leave this right on the top, just open wraps for now. And then once I get back to my bend, I'm going to, as always, lift my tail and come around with my thread, and I'll do that quick this time, just like that, and over, just like under and over. That helps keep that tail up. Now I like wetting it a little bit just to keep it from being so damn fluffy, right? So now I'm going to just go back to the front again, to my tie-in point. I'm going to grab my little bundle of silver and copper gold tinsel. flash. My brain's not working. Just tie that in. Just gonna cut that right off there. And then I'm just gonna shorten my thread here a little bit to be easier to manage. And then I'm just gonna tie that in all the way down, keeping it on the top, because on the top, the reason I want it on the top is because I'm gonna have my chain eyes here, so that means the fly is gonna ride like that and the fish will see it from the bottom, right? So you want to make sure you do that. Now I'm just gonna take that and just roughly cut it the length, maybe a tiny bit longer than the tail. Okay, so now you can take some wire, or in this case I've got some silver oval tinsel, Uni-French. And I'm just gonna, again, just lay it in there on my side here and just get that out of the way. Then I'm going to take a piece of my chenille and I'm going to expose my center like always. So you want to expose that center, and that's where you're going to tie it down. That way you make sure that you've got that tied down well if you expose that center cord, right? And then just going to come right back up to the front here and just leave it there. Now, just a good habit to get into for those that are new is just put a half hitch or do a whip finish in places like that. It just helps lock things in series, right, as you're going along. It just helps lock materials. So, and if you bump it, it's not a big deal. So now I'm just going to put one nice wrap right at the back there. And as you notice, I'm pulling this material back. I want that stuff to kind of face backwards a bit. And you see how that kind of jumps out when you do that? Got one more turn in here. Like I said, leaving room at the front for your hackle and for your eyes. Okay. Turn that over. Nip off your chenille. It's tied in nicely. Make sure all your materials stroke back nice. And if there's any of this chenille that doesn't cooperate with you, it's not a huge deal, because we can always just give it a bit of a schmack with the lighter. Just gets that stuff out of the way. And then I can just make sure I get all that tied down nice. Just that one little guy right there. It's not cooperating. There we go. So now I will take my hackle, wherever the heck I ended up putting it, right there. And I want this fairly long, this hackle. So about there is where I'm going to start, right there. So I'm just going to just tie it in like this with the shiny side facing out. I always like bending that stem back over itself like that, and then you can pick it out and cut it off if you, right there. That way you just know that it's tied in really well. So now I'm going to grab my hackle plier, grab my hackle, make sure all my materials are going to go back, stroke back. So then I'm going to do 2 full wraps right here at the front. Two full wraps, okay, and then I'm going to open that up, and now I'm just going to go back just like I'm doing a woolly bugger. 2 to 3 good wraps at least. So there. Now I'm going to take my tinsel. And just go and lock that in and use your tinsel to tie off that hackle. going back and forth as you go through so you don't trap anything. All the way to the front. And once you get to the front here, tie it off with your thread, holding everything back again. A couple of turns. You can let go of the hackle pliers now. I like making sure this is all stroked back really well. And then I'm going to create a little bit of a flat spot up the front here for where I'm tying my eyes in. And that'll help actually sweep those feathers back as well, that hackle. So, because you want that hackle to be swept back a bit. Okay, so now I'm going to cut off my tinsel, my beauty French here, oval tinsel. I'm going to find my piece of leftover hackle there, and I'm going to nip that off. You could probably just pull it off, but nip it off. And I like just giving this a bit of a brush out, making sure that everything is brushed back. Then I'm going to take a piece of my bead chain and use a crappy pair of scissors or a pair of pliers for this. Don't use your good ones because they will get damaged. So there's my bead chain. Okay, I'm going to just tie that on right behind the eye there. Catch that in, let that turn, and then I'm just going to figure eight this. All right. A couple of those little buggers underneath there don't want to cooperate, so just keep them out of the way. There you go. So I'm just figure eight it in. Now, like taking a little bit of whatever your favorite head cement is, or crazy glue, and I just like putting a little bit on the thread, and I'll do my whip finish now. So now I like doing, just giving this a bit of a twist up into the vise. And then just getting right in there and just getting that whip finish in. So I did kind of crowd this just a tiny bit. It's not a problem. I still got my whip finish in there. And now I'm going to put another set in right behind the eyes. So now I got two sets of whip finishes there. Tighten that up. Nip that off. Again, just give this a little bit of a brush out with your brush. And there's your finished Humongous. Like I said, that's just one version. The underbody is the thing that changes a lot. It's almost always black tail and silver bead chain eyes. But quite often you'll have silver body, not this white or the pearl. You'll have a silver body or a gold body, gold and black. And I know the silver was working really well this weekend, and I was fishing a similar a fly, but without the bead chain, in gold and black, and it worked really well as well. So, alrighty, so that's the Humongous. Give that one a try. If you like that video, give her a thumbs up. If you've subscribed, thank you very much. If you have not, please consider doing so. And once I reach 1,000 subscribers, which is getting closer, I will be giving away a copy of my books as well as a selection of the flies that I've tied on this channel. So, see you in the next tying video. Tie lines, everyone.